Today is the day, the highly anticipated Vienna opening deep dive. The way that this video is going to work is I am in the classroom tool on chess.com. We've got the evaluation bar, we've got the lines turned on so you can have a look at those. And I am just going to explore. I'm going to play with some of the different openings, have a look at some of the responses that Black might have, the things that make sense to me or the things that I've seen in playing my games. And we're just going to see what the engine suggests would be the best moves in that position for white. So, if you like the Vienna, if you want to learn about the Vienna, if you are just somebody who enjoys having a look at how different potential positions can happen on the chessboard, this is going to be the video for you. Now, obviously, the Vienna opens with the e4, and the most common response is going to be the e4 from the black side, and then you're going to move your knight over. This is the very beginning of the Vienna opening, and from here, Black has a lot of options. Black can bring this knight out, Black can bring this knight out, Black can bring the queen out in a couple of different positions, and so we're going to take a look at all of these moves. The first, 3 to 4 moves within that line. We might go a little bit further, we might come back. The idea of this is to just make it a bit of a playground, explore all of the different options, and just see how it affects the evaluation bar and what lines are suggested from the engine. Does that sound good? Does that sound cool? I hope so. I hope you will learn something from watching this video. I know that I'm gonna learn some stuff from this video. Just, some of those positions where I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I've been in this position multiple times, and even watching game review, being able to do it and click and drag and move the pieces is probably going to be more helpful for me personally, and hopefully helpful for you as well. So we'll start off with the Vienna Falkbeer Gambit. This is the one that I'm the most familiar with. Obviously, when they take, you push up. The knight is basically dead anywhere he moves unless he moves back. That's the best position for the knight in this position. Knight back to g8, and then you can move knight to f3. From here, d6 is supposed to participate, jump into the attacking here, and then you're supposed to move d4, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop puts into check, c6 comes out, bishop c4, moves, back this direction. Oh, I see. Usually I don't do that. Okay, bishop should move back in this position. E takes d4, bishop takes f4, knight, queen puts you into check, knight to f5, f6 is supposed to move, castle. Interesting, short castle even with the pawn being gone. See, that's something that I don't think about when I'm in the game. If this pawn, if the F or the C pawn have moved, I basically discount or write off that side of the board for castling. But it's good to see in this position, I should be castling. By move 11, you castle over. There's a lot of defense happening here. There's a lot of pressure on the middle of the board with all of these pieces. And so it's making sense that you should castle, right? You're keeping your king safe at all costs. And from here now, D might take c3. You lose this knight in this position. Rook can move to e1. And now that's setting you up for, you've got multiple pieces attacking and protecting this square. F takes e5. Bishop takes. Knight to f6. And bishop takes c3. Bishop takes c3. Wait, what? Oh, this bishop moves back. Oh, I see. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. The realizations that you can have in real time using this this classroom tool. So that's really cool. Knight B to d7 here. And then you just get to take the queen. Wait, you're supposed to take the queen. Sometimes the evaluation, the lines and the engine take a little while to actually show you the best position or the position that's giving you the best advantage there. So that's pretty cool. It's interesting, even after taking the queen, how the evaluation bar is still almost like a 50-50. Kind of crazy. Bishop takes e7. So that's cool. Okay, we went way further than we probably should for all of the openings. It's just my favorite opening for the Vienna, so I wanted to have a look at it. But let's have a look at some of the other potential openings here. In this position, so obviously if knight comes over, I can push up here if he doesn't take this position. So d5 is actually going to be, I think this is the Vienna main line when d5 pushes up. So f takes e5. So f takes e5 here, knight takes e4, and now knight to f3, and bishop to e7. Bishop to, oh, this bishop to e7. Oh, interesting. Only to e7. Interesting. No, bishop to c5. Why did it tell me? Okay, bishop to c5. Wait, what? Oh, this bishop to c5. Man, the grid system is so perfect and it's so simple to understand, and even me being an idiot has a tough time with that. So let's go back here. This, I believe, like I said, mainline Vienna, f takes e5, knight takes e4, knight to f3, bishop to c5, d4 pops up here, putting pressure on this. Bishop takes b4, or bishop to b4. Bishop to b4. Bishop to d2. And now in this position, it should be c5 from black. However, I could see a world where the knight takes or bishop takes. I can just see a world where that happens from the opposing player. Let's say this take happens, this take happens, this take happens, that take happens. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to follow along. You're still in a pretty even position, but from here in this position, the best move now is c5. And instead of taking, you move bishop to e2. This bishop to e2 is better than taking. You castle on black side, and now you castle on this side. Again, these are the best engine moves. I see a world where this happens. If I move my bishop here, there's a take, then you have to take with c. You get both of your pawns in the middle now, and knight to still a castle, and then you've got knight to c6, so kind of redeveloping the knight over here. Thankfully, the knight on the f square is protecting d4 still. Rook to b1. Rook to b. Oh, he moves, so rook to b1, put some pressure on this. Kind of, you're not really pinning this bishop, but it makes it so that if this bishop moves, you get a free pawn. f6 from here, kind of enticing this. E should take f6 in this position. Rook takes f6, and then queen to e1. Interesting. Okay, so let's move all the way back here. Let's have a look at this line again. Back. Okay. So after the main line of the Vienna, which is, I don't want to go back too far because it gets really confusing to reintegrate into the line that you're on. But when the bishop is here, bishop should take, he takes, you take with the pawn. His pawn should move up. You move your bishop to the e file. After castling for both sides, you're in a basically 50-50 position. And now knight should take c6. Right. We're looking at that. Knight to c6. Queen to d3. Moving up. Or e1. Wait. Queen to e1. Oh, this is where we were originally. Man, chess is so crazy how like one move just changes where the best position should be. It's actually like wild, the changes that you have to make to your position based on a single different move. Because this guy here is in response to the rook moving up. Queen moves over. Whoops. I don't know where the friggity frig we went now. Okay. I almost said a bad word, but I try not to say bad words here on the chess channel, because chess, even though it can be infuriating and it can really cause me to think some horrible, mean, nasty things, it's also a fun, wholesome game, and we are better than that. We don't need to use mean words. It's not a good thing to do. Okay, so after rook takes here, queen should move over. That makes sense. This is after everybody's castled. Okay, let's jump back. I've got a little hair or something on my tongue. We've gotten rid of it. Crisis has been averted. Let's move back over here. So this position, actually, I want to see when this knight comes out, what is the next best thing? So knight to f3, his knight to f6, then it's d4, pawn takes d4, knight takes, and now in this position, bishop to b4 is the ideal position, or is the position that you will probably most likely see as people are studying the lines and learning the lines. Bishop to d4, and in this position, knight takes c6. So when this bishop comes out to b4, your knight on the d file takes c6. This is going to instigate a response of b taking. Then you are going to take with bishop to d3. You're not going to take anything, but you move bishop to d3. They should castle. You should castle. Then d5 should happen on the black side. Your e pawn can take d5. This is protecting by this. And so now c takes d5. Now you move h3. That's giving your king an escape route. a5 to protect this bishop makes sense. Bishop to f4. Putting a little bit of play to the middle of the board. And now h6. Queen f3. Oh, see, we're getting some extra attackers over here. So if I take, he takes, I take, he takes, not very good. But if this pawn moves up, you've got a line on the rook in the a file. Interesting. Okay. Next would be c6. Reinforcing this pawn. So this pawn's got 3 protectors now, from the knight, the pawn, and the queen. Knight to a4. Bishop to a6. Bishop takes a6. Oh, interesting. It's crazy that this is still like a perfectly even game, basically, according to the evaluation as well, with all of these best moves coming into play. Rook takes, and then c4. Oh, interesting. c4, and then rook to e8. Rook to e8. Oh, taking over this file. Interesting. So let's have a look at this. This is, we went a little bit further in this line, but I just want to see what's going on here. So after you take the pawn, bishop is supposed to come out. You take, forcing doubling pawns. It's not truly a force of double pawns, but it is. And in theory, they should be taking with the b pawn. There's a world or a universe where they offer this queen trade, which we're going to look at right away. However, once they take, Once they take, your bishop moves up. They will castle, you will castle. This pawn comes to attack, you take it. The reason you take it is because you're reinforcing, so he can take, which I believe he's supposed to do. You're not going to take in this position, you're going to move this pawn up. He's supposed to move this pawn up. I also see a world where after this pawn move happens, you have this pawn attack, forcing your knight to essentially move. Doesn't have to move out of the way. It's suggesting a counterattack on the bishop, and bishop is now supposed to move. Originally it was saying bishop is supposed to move to e7, but now it's saying bishop takes, and then rook takes, which is really interesting there. Because now when this happens, you get to take here, keeping a little bit more pawn structure. And that is the best move, rook to take. Huh. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look here. So what happens when this pawn takes? You should take, you should just immediately queen trade, king loses castling rights, bishop to d2, bishop to d2, bishop to now e6, bishop to e6, wait, this bishop, light bishop to e6, a3, kicking this bishop, oh, he wouldn't be able to take because that's a bad trade. You're putting pressure here, and if he moves, then you get a line on that rook as well. Castling rights are also gone already, so it's going to be really difficult for the rooks to connect on the back rank. Interesting. So yeah, this is actually a mistake. If black is to take with the d pawn, you just trade the queens immediately, king loses castling rights, and from there, you're kind of engaging the bishops. That's the idea. You want the bishops to be bishop to d2. Yeah, bishop. He's supposed to bring this bishop out. Super interesting. Okay, I'm glad that I saw this because this is one of those lines that I do sometimes find myself in, and I'm like, I don't want to lose the pieces, I don't want to lose the knight or anything, but it's nice to also, the other reason I like this classroom tool, you have the lines, you can see what the best moves are, you turn the evaluation bar on, you can see how each move is having an impact on your evaluation. So when this pawn moves up, he takes, you take with the knight. There will also be a world where this knight takes, and if this knight takes, it's actually not good. When this knight takes, queen just takes. Now you're basically forcing some pawns to move, right? So pawn should move to d6. You move pawn to, you move the e5 pawn up. You're putting pressure on this knight. Knight is supposed to move over. Then you move your g pawn to g4. And this is cool. I studied this one a little bit, this line here. So again, we're looking at the position where instead of, after taking, instead of the black bishop coming to b4, the knight decides to take, queen moves up, he's supposed to move d6, supposed to, right? There's worlds where this doesn't happen, but the idea is that you're opening up the light square bishop. Interesting that it wants you to do this, kind of locking your dark square bishop in, but your dark square bishop is most likely going to be used to defend the king at some point because of the open file, because the lack of pawn support in the middle of the board. So after this moves, you push up. If knight moves here, that's interesting. So knight is supposed to move here, and then you put pressure on him with the pawn. This ensures that anywhere that the knight moves after this move, there will be death. And from here, after this, the queen is supposed to actually offer you a trade. So when the queen trade happens here, you take the knight and you end up with an advantage of 3 material. You're ahead by having both knights off of the board. However, I also could see a world where the knight comes down, and when knight comes down, you have to take. Pawn takes, forces a doubling pawn. Queen can now take. Bishop to b4 check. Bishop puts you into check. c3 pops up. queen to a5, building a battery here. And in this position, you actually shouldn't take. You should do bishop to c4. Bishop to c4. Oh, interesting. So in this position, if you were to take and then they take back, it doesn't change a lot of the position. It's not actually the worst thing in the entire world. It is the second best move for queen to take on a5. But if you counterplay with the bishop to c4, queen, this is now the best move for them to make. Queen takes and you take, but now you have a line on this rook. So if this pawn does decide to move, rook dies. It also means that if this bishop moves, you have a free pawn. So that's actually really interesting that you allow yourself to develop a piece as opposed to forcing the queen trade too early. You now have a light square bishop in the middle of the board with a lot of influence. That makes so much sense. It's so crazy how just playing the game at your own pace, looking at what happens when certain pieces move, allows you to see these things and understand that, okay, well, now we have more influence over the entirety of the center of the board. We have opportunity for our opponent to make a mistake. We can get a rook, we can get a free pawn out of the deal here. So I really like that. That's pretty cool. That's what happens. And this is all from the line of knight takes instead of bishop coming out, right? So in this position, bishop is supposed to come out and you can expand on that. Let's have a look at the beginning here again. So we do this, 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 and we could have a look at like what happens when the pawn is here. I think knight is just supposed to take because queen can't take. Right, okay, that makes sense. Easy peasy. Bishop out here, I've seen for sure. When the bishop comes out here, knight to f3, you just continue the development. d6 reinforces this bad boy. You just move to d4. Oh, interesting. You are supposed to move d4 here. d4, e takes, knight takes. Oh, I see why. See, I need to remember that my queen is here and can defend, because when you're here, take. If there's a take, you lose the bishop, right? So you are now down a bishop for a knight, and this is not great. Like, knight comes out to f6, that's fine. Bishop to g5, putting pressure on here. And now knight to c6, putting pressure on the queen. And bishop to b5. Oh, you just pin this. Wow, okay, so then it's bishop to d7. And then bishop takes c6, bishop takes, and now you long or short castle. It's kind of it's negligible. You can castle in either direction and it's good. You probably want to castle short, kingside. You're further away from the center of the board. Castling should happen here for the black side. And now rook from A to E1. Interesting. Instead of castling, what if they take here? Oh, huge blunder. Knight takes e4. Oh, I see why. Because that happens. If he takes, you take, and that's very bad. So he's not supposed to actually take. He's supposed to move c5, putting pressure here. Queen. Okay, so in this position, knight takes f6, putting him into check. G takes, and now queen puts him back into check. Queen to d7, and then rook from A to e1 check. King to d8 is the best position there. Bishop takes f6, putting him into check, creating a fork. king needs to move. King needs to move queen to f4 in this position. Queen. Oh, king moves queen to f4 here. Oh, I see why, because if you're gonna take here, you're gonna lose your queen. So queen to f4, rook to g8 now. Yeah, rook to g8, protecting from that. f3. What is that preparing for? That's so interesting. Oh, I understand. So rook is moving, or this is moving up. Is that moving up so that rook can move and move instead of opening the e file? Queen to c6 after this. Queen to c6. Rook to d1. No, that doesn't make any sense. Why rook to d1 then? Leaving this file open. d5 here. That stops that. Rook f to e1. Queen to now c7. Pressure on the queen. Queen to queen to f5 check. That makes sense. Queen to d7. And then queen is supposed to take or not? It says one thing and then it moves over. But queen to h5 from here. Queen to d6. That's threatening here. And then queen to queen takes f7. That protects, yeah. Rook to f8. Queen to g7. Oh man, there's just so much back and forth here for maintaining a decent position. Queen takes f6. Rook into check. Rook has to take. Queen can then take. Wow. Oh my goodness. There's a lot happening here. The other interesting thing about this pawn earlier, so I thought this pawn was actually moving as a way to let a rook move up and over and create a battery. But the reason this pawn is moving up is so when this position happens, you can take or you can move the king up. Like it's making sure you aren't going to get back rank checkmated instead of opening this up, because the queen is in this part of the world. So if you move this up, there's a chance, there's an opportunity that the queen is going to be able to set something up weird on here. And if your h pawn has moved up, your queen can get into here. There's no rooks or bishops, sorry, after a while. Ooh, we got to go back a long ways to get another bishop involved. But I think that's why this pawn moves up, because I don't see I don't really see a reason. Or is it stopping this? Wait, you move it up, queen moves over. Oh, I'm actually dumb. It's not for that reason. It's because when this moves over, not only is he getting out of the line of the bishop taking for free, when he moves over, this is actually creating an opportunity for the queen to checkmate you. So when you move this pawn up, it's preemptively stopping that checkmate attack. That's really interesting, because I didn't even see this until coming back and looking at it. It's like, oh, okay, so you can't get back rank checked anymore if you blunder horribly and a rook or the queen is able to get on this back line, this back rank, but you also are stopping the checkmate attack from the queen, even though the queen is still supposed to move over here, which is so interesting. Then you do this. This moves up. Oh, wow. Okay. That's super cool to realize that and notice it. Take, check. He has to take. You win the queen. You're still in a crazy winning position. Wow. Okay. That's super cool. That is super, super cool. Been recording for about half an hour now. We've looked at a lot of the lines, a lot of the openings here. Let's just bring it all back and let's see. When we do this and this and this, there are some times when I will see somebody bring a queen out early. I have seen the F6 move, queen to F6, just progress to D4. This is saying bishop to B4 is sometimes going to happen, or the take. I think in this position, take is probably the most likely to happen. And then knight to D5, which puts pressure on the queen. Queen now has to move to D8. Queen should move to D8, actually. The other thing with these lines, I mean, looking at what the best positions are and stuff and the ideas behind them, so valuable when your opponent makes these correct moves. It's also fun to be like, okay, well, what if this happens, right? It's a blunder, right? You can just see the evaluation bars like, don't do that, it's horrible. Ah, like, what are you doing? Because you could go here. Now this would probably be not great. Queen take, wait, why would the queen not take this? Wait, why does queen should move to C6 from here? It's not even in the top 3 lines for the queen to take. It has no difference on the evaluation though. Oh, queen can't take that. I'm actually dumb. Okay, see, it's a good thing I'm not like realizing these things during a game. So queen should move to C6. So the thing with the queen coming out is, especially with the Vienna, the thing that I really like about the queen coming out in really any position is you either get to continue your development, so knight to here, and then you probably have a D6, and then you move D4, take, queen takes because there's no queen in the way here. So like, yeah, the nice thing is, even if the queen moves out to kind of defend a little bit here, you just continue your development as normal. You can move up. If he takes, you take. Here they want like A6 or knight to C6. That makes more sense because you're putting pressure on the queen here. Bishop to B5, pinning to the king so your queen can stay here, have some more influence for a little bit longer. Bishop to D7 defends this. Bishop takes C5, take. Now you can castle. Queen over to F6 or D7. Which one is it? F6, D7. Looks like it's F6. Queen to F6. Pressure here. Queen moves to C4. Putting pressure on this, I suppose. E6. Repressuring. Knight to D5. Queen takes. Oh, interesting. Oh, excuse me. Super interesting here. So the reason you move your knight to D5 is because you got double protection here. So if he decides to take, you take. He can't move down here because you just take. He can't take because you just take. Really interesting. Okay. So yeah, the queen is just in a bad spot here. So that's why castling long is the thing that makes the most sense. Bishop or knight to G5. Which knight? Knight to G5. Oh yeah, putting more pressure on the queen. So if the queen comes out, your goal with the Vienna is basically just to keep putting pressure on the queen and get pieces in between that are protected. That's if the queen comes out really early. Boop, boop, boop. We had to look at this one, I think. I mean, it's getting a little difficult for me to kind of maintain what I've looked at, the lines that we've gone a little bit further into. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this went. There's a lot of information. There's way too much to retain in a single half hour. It's really been about an hour of me studying the different lines and the positions, but looking at these positions is valuable to somebody like me who needs to see these things and move things and look at the lines and look at like, okay, why do I move this here? And coming to the realization, right? When we had a look at, gosh, I don't even know where that's gonna be in the lines that I was working on here. But when you see things like moving your F pawn up to stop a checkmate attack because you put pressure on a rook and you're feeling all great and high on yourself for, you know, seeing the rook and forcing him to move. Now you have to move a pawn, because if you don't, you lose to a checkmate attack that you didn't even see, but you yourself initiated. Those types of things for me are so valuable. Am I going to remember all of it? Probably not. Am I going to become a perfect Vienna opening player after this? No, but I'm going to retain at least some of this information, walking myself through it. Having the aha moments, I think is definitely worth doing this. Well, that was my version of a Vienna deep dive. Was it the most efficient thing in the entire world? Probably not, but I definitely got value out of this, and I hope that you did as well. Maybe you saw something that you hadn't seen before, or maybe one of the positions that I had a look at was a position that you had struggled with knowing what the next move should be, or the next position that you should try to look at setting up. If you have any suggestions on how to make this more efficient or more fun or engaging or whatever it might be, I'm open to anything and everything. I did this more for myself, but as a way to record and share with you. Like I said, maybe you also learned something. If you enjoyed yourself here and this is your first time hanging out with me, definitely subscribe, because I upload a new chess video here every single day. If you liked the video, there's actually a little button that you can press to like the video. It helps me out a ton. I would really appreciate it, so thank you if you do that. And that's it. That's all. I love and appreciate you. You're a beautiful person. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.